What normally happens as P&L starts going south, our ego starts rising. You measure a trader by the amount of losses he has in the beginning. Curiosity is one of my ultimate measures if a trader truly wants to be a trader. Okay, this is something I love to do for the junior traders when they join the desk, is what you expect on your emotional journey here in the Cyprus office over the next 6 to 12 months, and all the reactions we see on the desk, and what happens with junior traders, and it happens with senior traders as well when they're going through various motions. So this is P&L, this is time. And as your P&L starts shifting southwards with little moments of time. Now, what I'm doing is I am mapping an equity curve. We have outliers where traders go up off the bat, straight at the beginning, but they're outliers. Our part of us as a company, as a business, is we don't make money just from the outliers. We have to bring traders who are committed, you could call them even average, we have to make them great. So on that sense is, how do we take traders who might have this typical design of their equity curve at the beginning of their career? And that's also the most important element is, at Axia, we aim to safeguard a trader's career in the beginning, to protect them from a risk perspective so they're learning, so they're developing. We understand you have to be exposed to the market to develop your skill sets. To stop you out too early is not in the interest of the company, it's not in the interest of the trader developing. So we've got to safeguard your risk in the beginning. So you accumulate those air miles of developing your skill set. So right in the beginning, what normally happens as P&L starts going south, our ego starts rising. A lot of time the ego starts rising and it starts saying, on the desk, like, man, that trader in that corner always, eats a smelly curry during lunch. Like, I can't stand that. I can't stand, or he has a certain twitch, or I can't deal with this type of behavior. So like our ego starts rising. And during that time as well, is as you start underperforming, this is one of our measures if a trader truly wants to be a trader. A trader, that's why you measure a trader by the amount of losses he has in the beginning and throughout his career, what type of response that generates. Does that generate deeper curiosity on why did I have this error here? Why did I lose on this trade? Curiosity is one of my ultimate measures if a trader truly wants to be a trader, or if he's just here that he has the dream of being a trader and he's been propaganded in too much of the Instagram lifestyle of what it means to be a trader. And so this curiosity element usually gets crushed. He loses on a trade. Screw it, I've lost 3 trades this week. I'm not going to review these trades. I'm not interested in understanding this loss. There's a couple of traders made a whole bunch of money today on a copper trade. Why? Why did they make that money? So not even the curiosity within your own game, but the curiosity within the group. And so if you spoke, because the curiosity within the group has the network effect, low-lying edge that is being exploited within the group instead of you having to reinvent the wheel. It's what I call hybridized thinking and perspective shifting. And then there's the other element of your own game, the big losses, the ones that you understand. Are you still curious whilst your equity curve is still going south? People just don't hack that. Equity curve going south, I'm not a trader. I'm useless. Maybe let me start looking at other jobs. Actually, you're cultivating a skill. Now, this is another big one. You start having an isolating mindset. You stop connecting into the intelligence field of the group. You start putting your headphones on. You don't want to hear anything or anyone. You don't want to listen to Grandpa Alex. You don't want to listen to young man Peter. You don't want to listen to Valentine. You don't want to hear what the other experienced traders have to say. I'm just going to solve this myself. And actually, a cancer cell is a disassociation from the healthy cells. It disconnects from the communicating bioelectric field of all the healthy cells. And so when that happens on a floor, when someone isolates himself, they're isolating themselves from the collective intelligence of the group. You stop showing up. Huge, Peter and I will start talking. This trader's coming in later at the desk during the day. He's going home early at the end of the day. He stopped doing his Saturday work or his Sunday reviews. He's not showing up anymore. And so as he's not showing up anymore, his routine collapses. His process to reflect collapses. How are you going to turn this equity curve around if these elements are disintegrating? Your fear starts rising. What am I? You start, you might having pressure from the outside. You have friends, going on a yacht party in the weekends. They're working 9 to 5, good corporate job. And so all of a sudden you'll feel like, my fear of my social status within my circles, my fear of, I'm this age, I should be worth this much, this amount, I should have had this success, all these kind of social labels, instead of actually being in the pursuit of the great game of speculation and conquering this game. And then another huge one, your learning mind disappears. It's linked, to everywhere else. Now, the traders that make it, they shift all of these the other way around. As your equity curve goes south, your learning mind increases. As your equity curve goes south, you understand your fear. You understand why you have fear. You try and understand, you lean into what your emotions are signaling to you. You show up even more. You keep that ritual and routine as hungry as you were on day one on the desk. You connect even more. The collector on the first floor, when he was literally on his last knees, so one of our senior 7-figure traders, when he was literally the risk manager, performance coach came to him and said, listen, you've literally got a month to survive. We're going to be stopping out. I can't remember what his account was down, maybe 20, maybe 30K at the stage, but they're on the brink of stopping him out. And he needed to be so resourceful that he spoke to a couple of senior traders and he found one that resonated with him. Sometimes you just have to find that one that resonates with you, that has edge. And he says, I'm looking at the DAX. These are the types of patterns I'm looking at on the order flow and the ladder. He just focused on that for a month. A month later, he got back 20K on his trading account. And it's always like that. It's asymmetrical in the sense that you're leaking. You guys have seen this when I do the end of the career program, and then you have the asymmetry. But it's so hard to see that exponential. It's so hard to see it in the beginning of your career. Your curiosity has to increase, and your ego. You need to understand that ego that keeps on. Now, when I say you never, it's also the ego tries to get rid of the ego. It's a bit of a, depending on what kind of spiritual practices you belong to, but for me, it's all just about understanding. What are the responses? Is it servicing you or is it hindering you? So at the beginning of your career, this will be your emotional journey. Every trader should know what the battle looks like ahead. And so if I'm here to equip you saying, these are what you're going to face, but make sure your learning mind is amplified during that time. How are you connecting to the intelligence field of the group? So your goal is to survive mentally. The CEO of NVIDIA, whenever he speaks to his programmers, Jensen Huang, he always says that the least resilient individuals are the ones that have the highest expectations. Because when all of a sudden you're not meeting those expectations, you're going to have huge learning expectations. But if you have in trading, super high P&L expectations at the beginning of your career, you're going to destroy yourself mentally. So the highest expectations, you have low resilience. So just understand how you engineer your expectations. You have to truly love this game. We can kind of train you, develop you, but you have to love this game. You never give up. You can change your life forever. There's many traders who went down this long journey, this walkabout, and they have changed their lives. But when you see that end result, And, I hope in the book Traders of Our Time, you've seen throughout those journeys, some of those guys were on their knees in their careers, literally almost collapsing. But what they had was resilience. They had curiosity, keep on going, belief, and overcome these hurdles and master this emotional journey, and you'll get closer to creating that type of asymmetry at the end. Because remember, at Axia, what we do on a consistent basis is once we find a trader, his learning mind, he's finding edge in the market, he's discovering how he interfaces with the market. Once he gets to that moment, we have a counter-cyclical approach. He could have started with 1 to 5 contracts here on the desk across, say, 6 products. Over here, we've seen, this trader's developing edge. We now need to try and safeguard him, protect, cut all the fat away from the trades that aren't working, focus on the trades that are working. He's seen a few cycles of the market. Over here, you might have 12 markets, and you could have 30 contracts across all the markets. We take a counter-cyclical approach. He could be at his weakest part of his equity curve, but we know he's getting closer to monetizing his skill and the learning. And so therefore, that's why that happens. If he was just on 1 to 5 contracts over here, it'll still be a much longer journey. And that's what we do at Axia. Once we've discovered that you've found your place, even if your equity curve is at its weakest, we'll increase your size. If we have confidence in your ability to risk manage that size, to be responsible with that size, and to deploy that size when it's the right moment.